Littlewood says they're meant to make you stop and think.
They are a spectacular showcase to remind us that we are part of nature and we are desperately responsible for nature.
He says this theme of our impact on nature runs stronger this year than in the previous 5.5 decades of the competition. Take this image of a man slicing up bats in an Indonesian market.
We know that markets such as this are a hotbed for diseases such as COVID, viruses that are moving from animals to humans. And then there is destruction of the Amazon. Those two images to me are screaming both natural history and the human impact story.
Other photos tell a more subtle story, like this picture of puffins taken by 14-year-old Evie Easterbrook off the English coast.
I know that they're quite endangered because there are only certain areas with the amount of fish they need to eat.
Matt Moran watched for wildlife closer to home in London.
All you want to be thinking about is composing and firing the shutter. This image really worked for me because you have that incredibly intense stare with this female looking at her younger brother saying, you know, there's no way you're going to get this rat.
Back off.
Yeah, totally.
Out of the 100 finalists, the Duchess of Cambridge Kate Middleton announced the winner in an online ceremony.
This year's Wildlife Photographer of the Year is Sergei Goshkov for his image, The Embrace.
What made this the winner?
Well, you can see, look at the colour, look at the light. It's a truly magical picture. It's a shot of a tiger, an Amur tiger from the Russian Far East. They've had big poaching problems, but with protection, the good news is that tigers are increasing.
The people behind these photos hope they move us to do much more to protect our beautiful planet.
Wake up, everybody. It's our home, our collective home.
By reminding us we're all in this together. Roxana Saberi, London.
Legendary writer and producer and all-around funny man Norman Lear is back on CBS with a reboot of his popular sitcom One Day at a Time. 45 years after that show debuted right here, the remake is starring Rita Moreno. And it's back home. At 98 years old, Lear is still an executive producer of the show, and he took time out to chat about life and comedy with Vladimir Duthiers.
This is not a normal conversation. This family needs boundaries.
Boundaries? What do you mean boundaries? Boundaries are for white people.
It's a show with 9 lives and for good reason. One Day at a Time first debuted here on CBS back in 1975, featuring an independent single mother raising her 2 daughters.
You do not know enough Spanish to know that I'm insulting you.
Netflix revived the popular sitcom for 3 seasons, but when it was canceled last year, fans rallied and the comedy found a familiar new home.
How does it feel to have One Day at a Time back at CBS for the first time in 45 years?
Absolutely glorious. I've always loved the show. I love the earlier incarnation. I've never had a better time or appreciated anything we've done more than this rendition of One Day at a Time.
Lear has produced dozens of sitcoms in his nearly 70-year career. From All in the Family to The Jeffersons, he hasn't been afraid to tackle the topics of the times.
The maid and the butler, you two.
Butler, what?
Yeah, they must be real rich.
Hold it, Diane. We are the Jeffersons.
And it's no different for this latest reincarnation of One Day at a Time.
Hi, I'm from the census.
Why did you do that? A guy wanting a list of Latinos in my house? No thanks.
The Bonnie Franklin version was then, and the Rita Moreno, Justina Machado version is now. And this is the moment we're alive. When something is over, it's over. And we are on to next.
The pandemic may have temporarily disrupted production, but it hasn't slowed the 98-year-old down. Last month, he won his 2nd consecutive Emmy for Live in front of a studio audience, beating his own record for oldest Emmy winner. In the specials, today's celebrities recreate original episodes of Norman Lear sitcoms.
I grew up watching shows that are in the quote-unquote Norman Lear tradition, where you touched on political topics, you touched on social issues. I suspect that it's the same now, that you've got younger people watching your shows much in the same way, and they are just as popular as those shows that premiered in 1971,
I love entertainment.
Why do you think that is?
I think they are very true to the human condition and the foolishness of the human condition. I fell in love with that phrase and that idea and the foolishness I saw all around me.
How important is it for the representation that we see through the characters of One Day at a Time? How important is it for the American people to see that on television?
It just, I think, helps us understand one another and to accept that there's very little difference. You know, from the Latin family from the Bonnie Franklin family to the Justina Machado family, their humanity pervades.
That was Vladimir Duthier with Norman Lear. The CBS Overnight News will be right back.
Thanks for watching KHQA.
I'm from a small town called Centerview, Missouri. It's near the Kansas City area. I love to cook. I love to cook for my family, my significant other. I also have a dog. His name is Bennington. He's named after the blues player. We're big sports fans. Kansas City Chiefs, St. Louis Blues. I've always had an interest in news. You're bringing them the facts. You're with them every day on the TV. You're making sure that your city and your community is protected.
This mask is protecting a little boy with cancer. This one is helping a mom stay safe at work. This one isn't because of the other shoppers, it's for them and you. Wearing a mask is a matter of common sense and common decency because we care. Wearing a mask is a sign of mutual respect. It's a simple thing, but it's vital. Wear your mask and help stop the spread of COVID-19.
How do you make sense of an election as unprecedented as this? We have two words: true journalism. At CBS News, we believe true journalism is honest and fair and always shines a light on the truth. True journalism listens to all voices.
The power of God.
And leaves the decisions to you.
God is the only answer. God is the only reason.
Decides. Only on KHQA. KHQA's Chris Dewar covers the best high school athletes each week with our Student Athlete of the Week program, recognizing those seniors who excel both on and off the field. Tune in Wednesday nights at 6 for the Student Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by